Thank you for that lovely introduction. It is an absolute pleasure to join you, albeit virtually, in South Africa for this virtual tribal campfire. I actually have a really special place in my heart for South Africa. It's where I spent my honeymoon. I have spent many wonderful moments in your beautiful country, and I have some incredible friends that live there. So I hope the next time we meet is in person, and I am just excited that with technology I can join you and celebrate coming together and connecting as a virtual tribe. Now, I'm going to kick off today this section with the new next, and I wanted to take this opportunity to discuss with you some key areas perhaps that we need to be thinking about, focusing on in our business. And I've used the terminology new next because that's really what we're now in. It's not about the new normal because nothing really is normal anymore, and where we're moving to will be a new, different opportunity. And that's the positive, isn't it? That whenever we are faced with adversity, there is always an opportunity that presents itself. And I believe now, as professional skin therapists and in our industry, there are opportunities that we need to pursue. So many of us during this time of challenging lockdown and restrictions maybe have been thinking about how we can adapt our business. What can we do differently? What can we change? What works and what doesn't? I wonder how many of you have actually had time to pause and reflect and actually work on your business because you can't work in it. I also wonder whether you've been thinking about how you can build your business again. And when we are reopening and moving into the new next, that's really what we're doing, isn't it? We are thinking about everything as if it's the first time again that we're meeting our clients, that we're performing our services. And there's an opportunity for us to build our skill set, to sharpen our tools. You have such an incredible education team here and so many wonderful resources that I'm sure you've already been doing that. And lastly, we want to thrive. You know, we don't want to just survive. We actually want a thriving business. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today and share with you some ideas that hopefully you can think about and just really get you thinking about your new next with your business. So I've defined these as 3 areas that in this short space of time I would like to spend some time discussing. And the first one is redefining our services, because we're in a time now which we've never been in before, where we've had restrictions on our services. Maybe we've now got clients that are nervous for having service, even though we've reopened. And maybe we can't do the services in the same way we once did. So we now need to think about how do we redefine it and what can we do to future-proof our business that is a big, heavy service model. Secondly, I wanted us to look about our communication and discuss how communication has really changed and how we can redefine the way we communicate and connect with our customer. And lastly, I wanted to think about our digital health, because now more than ever, the health of our digital platforms is incredibly important. So let's have a look first of all about defining our services. And of course, in our businesses, the most profitable treatments, without a doubt, are skin services. You know, our face treatments that we deliver offer us the opportunity for the highest retail revenue. They offer us the most revenue and profit. So we do still need to make sure that they are a credible source of income for our business, but also that we are concentrating on how we can maximize the revenue we get from these services. But equally, with COVID-19 and with the lockdown, we've seen a little bit of a transition to offering online services. So what does that mean for our business? And how can we utilize this? Because we don't want to be just thinking about short term, we want to also be thinking about long term. And that future-proofing mode is really important. So some thoughts I wanted to share with you. We are now in a time where for many of you, you need to make more money, but with fewer clients. And that's because perhaps with your government restrictions or your safety hygiene protocols, you can't see as many clients because you've now got to have time in between their services, rightly so, for cleansing and sanitisation procedures. It also may be that you can't have as many staff working at one time, or potentially you have less clients booking in for services. So how can we utilise this opportunity to ensure that our revenue stays healthy and we are maximising on the services we offer. So the first thing I wanted us to think about is the retail. Retail is key, and we've always said that, and I know the team there in South Africa would have said the same thing to you, that retail really is limitless. There are so many opportunities to retail to your clients. It's also not an optional thing to do. And I think one of the positives that's come out of the situation we've been in is that people have still continued to purchase product, albeit online, but they have still purchased product. And that's what we need to be thinking about, is do we make it easy for our customers to purchase retail from us? Do we remove the barriers so that they can, if they want to purchase online from us, or equally if they want to come in store, they can. I also want you to think about your staffing and yourself and how you look at retail, because often we get so fixed on the figures and targets that we forget how to break it down and make it more tangible. So one tip I wanted to share with you is start thinking about retail in terms of units. So when you're thinking about how much do I need to retail to potentially meet my target or to increase my revenue, start thinking about how many units you need to actually sell. And so that might actually only equate to 2 or 3 products a day. When you start talking in that way, your therapists, your team, it's much more tangible, it's much more achievable. So that would be one tip I would give you, is retail is non-negotiable, we know that. We want to be making sure that every client we have has a retail regimen. And it's also now about seeing the full package, and that we are there to be the skin coach that delivers that full package, which includes our professional services and the retail products. But by sharing that little easy tip with yourselves and your team about thinking numbers of product versus price and targets in monetary value, it then becomes much more achievable. The second point I wanted to talk about is upselling our services, and particularly using face mapping as our pipeline to our skin treatments. Now, if you are a full service skin centre and you're offering manicures, pedicures, eyelash, eyebrow treatments, we know that they are not as profitable. But if your therapists were to upsell face mapping to each and every one of those clients that comes in for a treatment, you would convert a high proportion of them to either have just face mapping or to a skin treatment. And it's not necessarily that those therapists have to perform the service, because it might be that you use a nail technician to do your nail treatments. But if that nail technician took a moment of their time during the conversation to say to them, have you experienced with Jess face mapping? She is such an expert in skin analysis, and she can talk to you about your skin and your goals and really help to achieve your healthiest skin. It's a free service that we offer, but I would encourage you. I had it the other day and I found out so much about my skin. Now, by doing that, we've already sowed the seed of thought to our client to book in just for face mapping skin analysis. That other therapist, Jess, who then takes that client through the face mapping skin analysis, is going to definitely get the retail revenue from that client, but also potentially convert that client for a skin treatment, which is far more profitable for us. So it might be that in your business you run face mapping days, or you have certain times in the column where you book out just time for that service. But think about it as a pipeline. Encourage all of your team to have had face mapping skin analysis and to know what to talk about. I also want us to think about programs of success versus single services, because remember, we need to sort of package it as a bundle for our clients, particularly in this time we're in now. And if you're in restricted time frames where you can't fit in as many clients, it's even more of an opportunity to say to your client, at the moment, I have a high demand for treatments. Obviously, I'm having to space out my treatments more, so I would like to book you in for the next 3 months to secure your services. We're also going to put together a package for your home care, so together we can work and really achieve your skin goals. That's far more profitable for your business than thinking single treatments. And then my final tip is, of course, the virtual connection. Our industry is based on connection and human touch and the way we communicate. And virtually, we now need to be as connected as we are in person. So I want you to think about the fact that really what we're doing is sharing human touch and adapting it in a different way. We know how powerful it is, and we can still keep connected with our customers even if we can't physically touch them. So what does that mean for us? Well, it means that we can offer a virtual touch service to enrich our client connections. We can do that through our virtual consultations, which consists of two techniques. We can offer virtual consultations with face mapping as a way to pre-screen our clients before they come in for services, to encourage them to take away their fears and their anxieties, but also to make sure they're booking for the correct service. This will also minimise the time they're in store with us, which will equally be helpful as we move through our lockdown procedures. We can also offer virtual consultation with face mapping for clients we haven't seen for a long time, or who are just not booking in for services, to offer them a seasonal skincare checkup so that they can, talk to us and chat to us about their skin and changes that need to be made. And then think about your in-person services as being the filler of this sandwich, if you like. They're the glue that holds all of these services together. And following those services, we can also offer virtual consultations, but with MirrorMe, so that we can actually encourage the clients to show us how they're using the product, to troubleshoot with them. Oh, that's not enough cleanser. Did you know you actually need to use this amount? Let me show you, for example. And this is another way of enriching that client connection. And then the other option we have is to offer virtual services ourselves. So a way to still connect with that customer when they can't come in store to receive our services. And I know that Sadie is going to talk to you about one of those elements later today. So think about the way you connect in store as well as virtually, and how can you offer virtual touch to your customers. Secondly, I wanted us to think about communication redefined. And how we communicate now is equally as important online as it is in person. We need to be thinking about the customer journey that the client takes when they come in store with us, but also the journey they go on online. And we need to bridge the gap between those two elements of our business because they're here to stay. You would have driven online during your lockdown procedure and potentially now while you've still got restrictions in place. But we don't want to just drop that. We want to keep that going so that our clients have those opportunities to communicate with us on multiple platforms, but also we have an opportunity to increase our revenue stream, whether that's through virtual services, retailing, or our in-store and in-person experiences. And I wanted us to think about it in terms of micro moments. So when you are communicating, what micro moments are you sharing? Because these are incredibly important, both in person and online. And I think it comes down to three elements that we should always be sharing: expertise, education, and an experience. So when you are looking at these micro moments and these opportunities, whether it's a virtual consultation or a skin service that you're performing, are you hitting all three of these? Are you sharing your expertise, your experience, your knowledge, your qualifications, the fact that you are, an expert in your field? Are you sharing education on skin, on product, lifestyle, self-care? We have a wealth of education that we can share, and we need to be seen as an authority. What are those education moments? Or it might be, that light bulb of, wow, I didn't realize I needed to use that much SPF on my skin. And thirdly, the experience, whether that is through a MirrorMe, whether that is through face mapping, whether that is through hands-on technique or service or playing with products, there needs to be an experience element, because those micro moments will matter and they will bond your client to your business, both online and in store. And then thirdly, I think it's opportunity for us to take a health check of our digital business. Because as I said, now is definitely the time to have a digital element. If you didn't already, I'm sure you probably switched it on during lockdown. And if you haven't, you need to get on it. Because now we will see a huge increase. We are seeing a huge increase in customers looking at businesses on an online platform before they even come in store. So many of our customers' journey starts in a digital world. So really what I want you to think about is having two windows into your business, one that's a virtual window and one that's a physical window where you have your physical store. And those need to be reflecting your business equally. So when we're thinking about our business health checks, what can we do? We need to sort of think about some key things. How easy are you to find? In South Africa, I'm not sure if you're still using Google search like we would, Google Maps, to find locations. You might have a different locator that you use. But have you looked at how easy your business is to find if someone's looking at the local area and finding where they go for skin treatments, for example? Online ratings and reviews are so important. They are now the legal tender for businesses in terms of, we used to have word of mouth, and that still is a way of promoting a business, but more so now ratings and reviews are. People will always look at the ratings and reviews before they make a decision on a business or on a product purchase. So make sure that they're positive. And have you ever checked in to see what ratings and reviews are left about your business? And do you shout about them when you get a good one? Do we make it easy for our service menu online and our bookings online? Because again, as I said, people during this period of time have got used to navigating online platforms and want a quick, easy process. So if I think to myself, well, you know what, I'd love to book in with Uni, and I'm at home and I want to do it quickly on my phone so I don't forget, that makes my customer journey so much easier and more accessible. So booking online and making sure you have all your service menus online will be incredibly important. Having a social media presence, if you're not already, Instagram, as we know, is great. Facebook is another alternative. And the good thing about these platforms is they're offering now so many more services free that you can use and utilize to enhance your business. You can use Instagram Lives, you can use the stories for Q&A sessions, you can create a little video content. Video content is really key. You might even use YouTube as a channel for your business. If you've got team members who are strong, use them, who love everything social media and video, because it's not always as easy as it looks. Sometimes we need to practice our presence. But you are an expert in skin. Share your knowledge, whether it's answering questions that are common, that people want you to answer, or whether it's talking about how-to topics like how to cleanse properly, or how to, exfoliate your skin, for example, or why should I use an SPF? Use all the resources you get from the education you receive, because there's some great tips and advice there that you can then take online. And have a clear and easy customer journey. As I said, anything online needs to be quick and easy to do because people are less tolerant online than they are in person. So make sure that it's not complicated or it doesn't take too long, because that will put people off. And my final tip would be plan. Have a marketing calendar that not just talks about your promotions and your in-store activities, but also your online activities too, including what you're doing on social media, so that you can really utilize your time effectively. So one final thought I wanted to get you to think about comes from Jane Werwind, of course, our founder and visionary. And I think this typifies everything we've talked about today, because it is time for us to let go of things that don't work, let go of the realization that perhaps some of the things we were doing were not necessary, that we can improve, to let in new opportunities, whether that's virtual consultations or virtual services, or whether that is a social media channel that you've not been doing but you'd like to do, whether it's offering online bookings. But let in these opportunities. And of course, finally, embrace change, because we have to change. We can't go back. We can only go forward. And we want to move forward into a new, stronger next. Thank you so much for your time.